And which group or organization are you with?
Well, I personally am joining Nature Karta International, which NKUSA stands for Nature Karta USA. There are many other communities worldwide and in Palestine. We have two rabbis from Palestine, a very old rabbi and a young man who left Palestine because they were so upset to what's happening there, what the state of Israel is doing. Many Jews left Israel in past decades because they couldn't stand what the state of Israel is doing.
And what is the goal or mission of your group?
Well, our goal is very simple, to expose the truth of Torah, of Jewish belief, and to show for the world that we have no problem with the Muslim people, with the Palestinian people. We are not their enemies, and not supposedly, as the state of Israel is presenting, that if one is a Muslim, if one is an Arab, they have to hate Jews, and if one is a Jew, he has to hate the Arabs. Jews did live in peace with Arabs in the Muslim world in general, and in Palestine specifically. There's still rabbis who still remember that. We definitely can live in the future in peace. The obstacle to peace is the state of Israel, and we hope, we pray that this state of Israel should end. We hope peacefully, without suffering of anyone, Jew or Arab. At that time, we strongly believe that peace will be restored as it was before.
Can you tell us why you're here today?
Yeah, I'm here to state my case that this man threw Israel under the bus yesterday.
Don't know what we're doing.
No, you don't know what you're doing. You voted for him because he was black. You wanted to do civil rights. This man is destroying America and Israel, and his whole foreign policy stinks. But you don't want to open up your mouth about the reality, what this bum has done.
And why are you here today?
Thank you. I'm here to make a statement. This is my 450th demonstration since October 2007 that Israel and Jerusalem have to remain united, that we don't support the Islamic terrorists, that the people who are aligned with Hitler are the ones who want to finish the job with the Ahmadinejad and Iran, that this guy is allowing to build nukes that will go after Israel and America. This guy is the worst of the worst. His whole speech yesterday completely ignored the Christians that are being murdered in Egypt, the Coptic Christians, and the churches that were burned as they're being murdered all across the Muslim world. The Hindus that are being subjected to the mass murder in Mumbai, the Buddhists are being subjected, and 20,000 additional Islamic Nazi attacks since 9/11, where the Sunnis and the Shia are killing each other. This guy doesn't say a word about that yesterday. But he wants to divide Jerusalem, wants to divide Israel, says that we're occupying Arab land when God gave us this 5,000 years ago, and the PLO and Arafat and all that opened up their mouth only in 1967. We're not listening to this garbage. Jerusalem's been Jewish for 3,000 years. We're not giving it to the people who danced in the streets after 9/11. And then he's going to divide Israel, so we have a corridor between West Bank and Gaza. That means the end of the Jewish state. This guy's a phony, and instead of honoring and supporting the only ally that we have, and the one that we get the most information on, military and everything else, in terms of fighting terrorism, which is Israel, no, Obama gets in bed with Fatah, Hamas, Al-Qaeda, Muslim Brotherhood, Hezbollah, everybody that wants Israel and America dead. I'm here to say, no way, Jose. And by the way, to my brother here that thinks I shouldn't say it, too bad, I'm here to say it. And I'm a registered Democrat. I didn't vote for this bum the first time. I knew he was trouble. He's worse than I ever dreamed of. And I will make sure that the Jewish community in Florida is going to back away completely, because they're the ones that elected him the first time. And this is how he treats us.
Are you Jewish yourself?
Big time Jewish.
Sorry, I wasn't certain. You said that he backs Hamas and Hezbollah?
Of course.
So what's the evidence?
And by the way, the evidence is that he gave, in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code, that you can't give material support to terrorists, $1.3 billion already to Fatah and Hamas, which only 2 weeks ago, by the way, wedded together, and both of them are committed to Israel's destruction. Fatah slowly, Hamas right away. When Israel got out of Gaza voluntarily, what did we get? 15,000 rockets from Hamas. Did Obama open up his mouth about that? Did he say a damn thing about 5 Arab wars and 2 intifadas and 25,000 more Jews murdered? No. He wants to play that we have to have peace. How do you make peace with somebody who wants to kill you? It's you or them. Make a decision. What is all this crap? And by the way, this is not a left-right issue. It's a matter of survival for America and for Israel. And really the rest of the world.
He wants to get back to the 67 lines. When the 67 lines, it's mean no security for Israel, no something which establish right borders, and the 67 war border. It's nothing. It's just just a line that was between two states of Jordan and Israel. That's all. No Palestinians over there. No such a place called Palestine. As it's just the border between Jordan and Israel itself. That's all. What am I? I'm reading about that Obama wants to re-elect again, and because of that, he's doing very tough things to Israel and to Natanyahu. So I suggest he will calm down and realize that this is not a negotiable thing. You can talk about reasonable borders, but not in these 67 borders. And those borders should be related to the security, 100% security for Israel.
Thank you. Are you from?
I'm Israeli. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first position that I've ever heard put forth, against a Palestinian or Israeli state from Jewish people. So that's interesting.
This is not new. This is going on already for decades.
Wow.
I was told that you guys sat down in a conference with Ahmadinejad when he was stating the Holocaust didn't happen. Do you guys believe in that also? The Holocaust didn't occur?
Definitely, certainly not. Our grandparents were killed, were murdered in the Holocaust, and we sat at the conference. Happens to be myself. I was there, and happens to be that I listened to all talks, and the Iranian president didn't say he denies the Holocaust. But this is a whole different discussion.
The question how many people were killed there, how they were killed, different questions, but not that if it was.
And again, this is another point.
Do you agree with Ahmadinejad on his statements at the conference you went to? What he said?
Well, nothing that he said at the conference was bad in my eyes, and I don't think that you would think that it's bad in your eyes, other than he said that whatever happened to Jews does not legitimize Jews to oppress other people. And this the Israelis would not agree, but I, as a Jewish people, and as I try to be an honest human being, I definitely agree that if my great-grandparents were so terribly oppressed and so terribly tortured and so terribly killed in the Holocaust, this gives me a lesson that I should care about a fellow human being and I should feel pain, and I really would not like to see any human being suffering as my grandparents did.
Only 2 weeks ago, a rabbi was killed at Joseph's tomb, because it's in Samaria, by the great Palestinian police. A Jew wants to pray where Joseph was at. Joseph led the whole Egyptian rebuilding of the Jewish community that led to the Exodus, that led to the creation of the Holy Land, and the Torah and all this other stuff. Joseph is a key player. A person, bless you, a person gets killed because he wants to pray at the tomb. That's the great Palestinians we're talking about, that this guy supports. This is only 2 weeks ago. A rabbi murdered by the Palestinian police because he dared to pray at a holy site. Everything that's Jewish is under Muslim control. The Temple Mount, Muslim control. And Obama comes out with the UN and says, oh, the Western Wall, which is the outside of the first and second temples, that's thousands of years old, that's Jewish. No, belongs to the Arabs. The British government refused to take TV ads urging the Brits to come to Israel because they said, you can't show the Western Wall, it belongs to the Arabs. Up yours, how dare you make such a statement? We're 2,000 years older than Islam, let alone Christianity, and you're putting this, that we don't matter. Our first and second temples don't matter. Our faith doesn't matter. Our being in the Holy Land for 5,000 years doesn't matter. And what these bums are doing here is negating all of it. For what? None of this makes any sense.